Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to my dear examiner. I hope you are well. I'm Fazuni, student ID 720314016220-001, third year student, semester 7, on the subject ABPD1303 Adolescent Psychology. Today, I will share my self-reflections on a time during my adolescence when I had a significant disagreement with my parents regarding something important to me, particularly in the context of our relationship. In these presentations, I will discuss a personal disagreement with my father, in particular regarding gender equality. In this reflection, I will discuss number 1, my emotions during the disagreement, how it made me feel and the reasons behind those feelings. Number 2, the impact on trust and communication, how this experience influenced my ability to trust and communicate with my parents. Through these reflections, I aim to explore the lesson learned from this experience and its lasting effect on our relationship. Parenting styles play a significant role in shaping children's perceptions, values, and self-worth. According to Baumrein's theory, parenting can be categorized into 4 styles. Number 1, authoritative. Number 2, authoritarian. Number 3, permissive. And number 4, neglectful. Each style influences a child's emotional and psychological development differently. Moving on the next slide, I would like to state my father's style of parenting. My father holds a preference for male children over female children, which led to an emotional and psychological struggle for me as his daughter. This experience highlights the role of authoritarian parenting in reinforcing gender biases and the long-term impact on parent-child relationships. As my father practiced authoritarian parenting, he often enforces rigid gender roles, detecting specific responsibilities based on gender. For instance, in our household, tasks like housework and cooking are considered solely a girl's responsibility, reinforcing traditional and restrictive societal norms. Due to being forced to do housework and cooking, I gradually began to refuse these tasks. This experience has had a lasting impact on me, particularly when it comes to cooking. Although I dislike doing housework, I still ensure that my current home remains clean and comfortable, as I have developed a slight tendency toward obsessive cleanliness and dislike living in untidy environment. My father's preference for sons over daughters has influenced my self-worth. For instance, he often praises my brothers in my presence, implying that they are superior to me. However, I am grateful that my brothers have never looked down on me and have always treated me with respect. My father openly expressed a preference for having sons over daughters, favoring my brothers while disregarding the contribution and values of me as a daughter. This led to many arguments between us regarding gender equality, and I refused to back down. I refused to back down. I remember a time when I was extremely angry with my father. In the moment of frustration, I walked out of our home and came across a public phone. Without hesitation, I called him. I still vividly remember what I said. I said to him, Right now, I may not be able to do much since I am still a teenager. But one day, when I leave this house and build my own life, I will prove to you that you are wrong. Before he could respond, I quickly hung up the phones because in reality, I was afraid of his reaction. However, when I returned home, he didn't say a word. He remained completely silent. I couldn't care for his feeling as he doesn't care for my feeling. Coming from a large family with 7 sons and 3 daughters, I felt deeply hurt by his stance. His belief that boys were superior made me feel unappreciated, betrayed, and emotionally disconnected. At one point, I stopped talking to him and avoided myself from him. I was challenged to prove my worth beyond my gender. However, before my father passed away, I was able to demonstrate to him that I am far more capable and valuable than he had initially perceived. Please excuse me for this. As his own child, I expected to receive equal love and respect, but instead, I was made to feel inferior simply because of my gender. This disagreement instilled a sense of sadness, betrayal, and frustration, challenging me to prove that my worth is not determined by my gender, but by my capabilities and achievements. My father's unequal treatment has had a profound impact on my emotional and psychological well-being. During my teenage years, I often experienced feelings of uselessness and worthlessness, which led to a deep sense of frustration and rebellion. This imbalance in treatment not only affected my self-esteem, but also shaped my behavior and emotional responses during the critical stage of my life. Since then until now, I always think that I need to fight back when I feel someone tries to oppress me. This experience significantly affected my trust and communications with my father. Over time, I became more independent as I realized I could not rely on his emotional support. His denial of my worth as a daughter made me withdraw from seeking his validation. I also developed a sense of distrust toward men in relationship, fearing that they might hold similar beliefs about gender roles. As a result, my communication with my father diminished, and I gradually distanced myself from him, especially after securing a job and building my own life. The emotional gap between us widened, and I no longer acknowledged his presence in my personal affair. This further reflects how authoritarian and gender-biased parenting can lead to strained parent-child relationship. As a conclusion, this personal experience highlights the profound impact of parenting style on a child's psychological well-being and self-perceptions. My father's preference for sons over daughters reinforced a gender-biased mindset that significantly affected my emotional health and trust in paternal relationships. While this disagreement caused emotional pain, it also motivated me to strive for independence and to challenge traditional gender stereotypes. It is crucial for parents to adopt an authoritative parenting style that fosters equality, open communication, and mutual respect among all their children, regardless of gender. By doing so, families can create a nurturing environment that values every child's potential and contributions. This is part of my reference. So we have come to an end. Thank you for watching. Food of thought. My advice to the parents out there: be mindful of the words you speak to your children, as the impact can sometimes be deeply damaging and long-lasting.